Okay, hello everybody. It's Chris and Matthew from
Hello.
Midgard Gaming. Today we are going to be giving you a demonstration of a very exciting new TCG that has come to North America only within the last month, and that is Flesh and Blood.
Oh
So,
yeah.
as you can see by our boards here, we have a lot laid out that we will explain as we go into it. So, the starting premise of the game is that each person selects a hero class, and that is the character that they build their deck around. So just as an example here, I have the warrior Dorinthea.
And I have the ninja Katsu.
Exactly. So each class comes with its own unique abilities and mechanics that we will explain as we dive a little bit in. So some of the general overview of the game. Each hero has two abilities, or two specific traits, I should say. Your health and your maximum hand size. Hope you can see that on the camera. These are both indicated by these here. So you can see here the young Dorinthea has a starting health of 20 and a maximum hand size of 4.
Same goes for my Katsu.
So that is sort of the basis for most heroes. There's only a couple of classes that deviate from that.
And they're in the newer sets.
Yeah, so you won't be seeing those today. So each hero, at the start of the game, you have your hero selected, as we do, and then you select a weapon and equipment to accompany that hero. So just as an example, I will start. Dorinthea comes equipped with Dawnblade. This is a two-handed sword. So once per turn action, I can pay a resource to attack with Dawnblade. And then if Dawnblade hits, and it's the second time Dawnblade is hit, then it gets a counter, and a plus damage counter. And then at the beginning of the end phase, if Dawnblade did not hit this turn, you remove it. Now, the trick, of course, Dawnblade indicates a once per turn action. So how do you attack twice? That is with Dorinthea herself. Her ability, once per turn, whenever a weapon I control hits, I may attack an additional time with that weapon. Now, you still need an action point, which is something that we will explain as we get into the game. That'll be a lot easier to explain as we're actually demonstrating the playing of the game itself. And then, of course, you see over here the equipment. So, a couple different pieces of equipment. Some of these can be used for defending. Their defense value is indicated down here in the bottom right corner. And some of them are mainly just for utility. So like the Hope Merchant's Hood, for instance, does not have a defense value, so you cannot use it to defend. However, it does have an ability that you can use to help sculpt your hand and make your hand better once. You have to break it or destroy it once that happens. And then each class as well has specific equipment associated with that class, which we can discuss as we go. So, Matthew, why don't you explain Katsu?
So Katsu is, like we said, the ninja hero. Something I'd like to say is there is young versions and old versions of heroes. Right now we're playing the blitz format, and that uses the young heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the only thing that changes between the young and the old is the health pool. So an old Katsu would have 40 life instead of 20. It makes for longer games, but blitz is...
Okay. So health pool and the way that the deck is built.
Well, of course. Blitz has 40 card decks, and the regular would have a 60 card deck. And there's also some other restrictions that we don't really need to get into for this video. So the weapons I chose is a one-handed dagger, the harmonized Kadachi. So obviously, since it's one-handed, I could have two of them, which I do. And this has the once per turn action, one resource attack, which it deals 1 damage. But this has the nifty thing that if I do have a card with cost 0 in my pitch zone, which we'll get into later, it has go again, which essentially means it gives you another action point. So, like Chris was saying, you have one action, attacking takes that action, but if this is met, then I get another one because of go again. So then I can attack with the other one and do other things.
Mm-hmm.
Each hero seems to have its own mechanic with it. So the Katsu's mechanic is combo. So what that is a lot of the cards in the deck will have the word combo on it, which says that this one here says if leg tap was the last attack of this combat chain, then this gains 2 attack and go again. So what I would do is attack with leg tap first, And then if I have enough resources and such, then I can do Rising Knee Thrust, which is the combo. And then the final is a Blacko Kick. If Rising Knee Thrust was the last attack, this gets stronger, then I do that.
Mhm.
So far, each combo chain is only 3 large. I don't know if they're planning on changing that or whatnot, but that's how combo works.
And that will become much more evident how that all works once we actually
Get into the game.
Get into some actual gameplay, and you can see how it's all played. The one other thing that I would like to note is that Matthew did mention pitch value.
Yeah.
And so pitch value is something that's quite unique to Flesh and Blood, as far as I am aware. So what you see here, you see on the surface the same card, Driving Blade. However, as you can note, there are different colors associated at the top with each one. This is because the color of the card determines its pitch value and how strong its ability is. So just as an example, Driving Blade here. Blue cards have a pitch value of 3, which means that you get 3 resources when you pitch it, which you can use to then play your other actions. And then yellow pitches for 2, red pitches for 1. So, of course, the catch is that the less resources it produces when you pitch it, the greater the effect of it is. So the blue version of Driving Blade, your next weapon attack this turn gets +1 and go again. So, okay, that's fine. But then when you look at the red here, you see your next weapon attack this turn gets +3 and go again. So the red versions have stronger effects, but pitch for less mana. So you need to find a balance in the 3 colors in order to make your deck function properly. Because if you have it filled with all red, you're not going to have enough resources on average to do what you want to do. However, if you have it filled with only all blue cards, then you're not going to have strong enough effects to punch through your opponent's defenses efficiently. So the trick is finding a balance between these 3 in order to make your deck as optimal as possible. So you want to ideally pitch the blue versions in order to play the red versions. So very quickly before we get into an actual gameplay demo, I will just discuss the other mechanic of the warrior class. So of course I mentioned the weapon, and this class very much is centered around its weapon. You are trying to just attack with this weapon multiple times, make this weapon stronger, and give the weapon go again, which is what a card like Driving Blade here does. So that will allow you to attack with this weapon twice to really capitalize on Dorinthea's ability. Now, the other mechanic of this class is one called Reprise, which is a way of essentially punishing your opponent for trying to defend your attack. So you take Iron Song Response as an example. It normally doesn't do anything except for defend for 3. However, if you play this as an attack reaction card, then it gives your weapon attack +3 if the defending hero has defend with a card from their hand this chain link. So as long as my opponent has played a defense card from their hand, then I'm able to take advantage of the reprise mechanic. Certain cards have effects without reprise and then get bonuses with reprise. Others, like this one, only have reprise. So this card is not playable if Matthew does not defend.
We'll get into how you defend and attacking when we do it in the gameplay demo. It's a lot easier to explain that at the time it's happening instead of just throwing terms and words at you.
Exactly. So, like I said, just keep these things in the back of your mind, and then as we proceed through an actual a couple of turns, we probably won't be able to finish an entire game right now. However, we can certainly give enough of a demonstration of how everything functions, and how combat works, and all the different rules of the game.
So like any card game, or any game really, we got to decide who goes first here. So we use dice for that. Let's see. I rolled a 5. You rolled the highest number, 12.
I rolled a 12. All right. So that means that I guess I will be going first.
So we both look at our hero's intellect value, which is the maximum hand size. We both have 4. So we draw up to 4 cards to start the game. Okay.
All right, so you look at your opening hand and then say, okay, so my opening hand has a lot of foolishness going on. So at the start of a turn, you take a look, okay, I have my opening hand, and now I need to decide how I want to proceed with my turn in terms of my attacks. So what I am going to do is I am going to begin my turn by pitching a Driving Blade blue. So that, again, now this will generate 3 resources. I'll just use a dice here to indicate my current resource pool. One thing to note with the resources too is that they do not empty until the end of your turn. So once you pitch a card, you can only pitch a card if you are about to spend resource points. But once you have done so, you don't lose any excess. So I pitch for 3 right now, but the action that I am playing is a 1 cost. So that means that I will have 2 action points remaining. So what I'm going to play is a Warrior's Valor blue. So what this card reads, your next weapon attack this turn gains +1, and if it hits, gain go again. So remember I mentioned a very important thing with the warrior class is giving your weapon go again. So this now permits my weapon to gain go again under the parameters that I actually hit. So then now your pitch zone goes here next to your deck. Your graveyard or discard goes over behind your deck. Okay, so now I have 2 resources left. My next weapon attack is going to have +1. And if it hits, it will gain go again. So now what I will do, I'll spend a resource, and I will now attack with Dawnblade, starting a combat chain.
Okay.
So Dawnblade is currently in a chain link attacking.
Attacking for 4.
Attacking for 4, that is correct.
So that was the declare attack phase. Now we go to the defense phase, which we were saying each card has defense values in the bottom right corner there. Not each card, but most cards. Mm-hmm. So then if someone is attacking you, you can choose to defend it with any number of cards in your hand. And it doesn't cost any resources to defend. You just lose that card. It will be discarded after the chain closes. So I don't want that to hit because he does a lot of cool things when that happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to block with Open the Center, which has a 3 value. And I'm also going to choose to use our equipment over here. So you can block with any combination of all your equipment, 1 equipment, no equipment, cards in your hand, and all that. So I'm going to use my legs and the Open the Center to block this attack for the total defense value, which is 4.
Right. So now after the defense phase is declared, there is a priority shift that happens where now the attacking player, i.e. me, can choose to play an attack reaction card if I have one. So I am going to do that. One thing you will note with the warrior class, the deck is filled with attack reactions. That's the whole idea, is make the initial attack threatening and then have attack reactions to back it up when they defend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pitch a Razor Reflex blue for 3 resources.
Oof, okay.
So that is going to put me up to a total of 4. And then I'm going to spend 3 of those resources to play a Overpower blue onto the combat chain. So now this is an attack reaction. Target weapon attack gains +2. Reprise if the defending heroes defend with a card from their hand this chain link, which Matthew has. This attack gains an additional +2. So currently I'm giving my weapon +4 extra attack. So now it is coming at him for 8.
So I've blocked 4. So then now we would shift to a defense reaction phase where I can choose to lay defense reactions. I would still have to pay their cost to do that. I don't have any defense reactions in my hand, so I'm not going to do that, obviously. So then I pass priority, and then it goes back to... Oh, sorry, then the attack hits. So,
right.
Yeah, so he's hitting for 8. I only blocked 4, so I take 4 damage. I go to 16. And the equipment here says Blade Break. If I defend with Iron Rot legs, destroy it when the combat chain ends. So combat chain is now ending.
Well, no, the combat chain is not ended yet, technically.
Yeah.
That chain link has ended.
Yes, sorry. That chain link.
Yeah, so the combat chain only actually ends and all cards leave it once the full chain has finished.
Yes. So I guess they're still there. This
They're
is
still
there.
technically there.
So now you have
All right,
your
so
go
now,
again.
yes, so now my weapon does gain go again because I hit with it. I will now use Dorinthea's ability, which permits me to attack with Dawnblade a second time. I have one resource conveniently remaining in my pool, which I will now spend. And now Dawnblade is going to attack once more. Now this time it does not have any pumps. It is only attacking for 3.
Okay, I'm going to block it with Fluster Fist.
So he's defending the 3. Of course, I have no cards in my hand currently, so I have no attack reactions. I'm assuming he doesn't have any defense reactions.
Did it the first time, so don't need to do it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. So even Steven.
Mm-hmm. So with this exchange, now Dawnblade does not hit him, and of course that means that it does not gain its +1 attack counter because it has not hit twice. It only hit once.
So now the chain ends.
Chain ends.
All
everything-
defended and used cards go to the graveyard. Any equipment breaks or does their effect.
Mm-hmm. And so now I'm empty-handed, and here's another unique factor about the gameplay of Flesh and Blood. At the end of your turn, so your pitch zone, first of all, will go on the bottom of your deck. So I had these 2 cards pitched. They go onto the bottom of my
In
deck.
any order you want.
Yes. And then at the end of your turn is when you draw back up to your hand size. So, of course, Dorinthea has hand size 4.
So before you do that, we
And-
should explain the arsenal. Just
The arsenal?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we can do that real quick. So obviously, I don't have any extra cards in my hand, so I can't make use of this. However, there is a zone, Matthew is right, called the arsenal. So it is generally right here behind your hero. If you have a card in hand, say I have Overpower left in my hand.
Yeah.
And I want to draw up to my maximum hand size this turn and get as much value as I can, you can select to put an action card into your arsenal face down like that.
Yeah.
So now, this card can only be played from the arsenal. This is important because you cannot pitch it for resources from your arsenal, and you cannot use it to defend. If it's a defense reaction, you can cast it because that's playing the card, that's fine.
Yeah.
But just defending, as Matthew did with his cards, that is not playing them. That is simply defending with them. So that's an important thing that you need to keep in mind when you're placing cards into the arsenal. And that will conserve them basically and give you access to 1 additional card on your following turn. Now, as I said, I do not have any cards left over, so I will not be making use of that this turn. And I will be drawing up to 4. Now, here's another key thing. On the very first turn of the game, both the attacking and defending player will draw up to their maximum hand size at the end of that turn. From that point on, only the active player, the player who's attacking, draws up to their maximum hand size. This is a way to make you have to decide between using your cards for attacking and for defending.
very, very key.
So yeah, it's very important to manage your resources in that regard. So now Matthew will draw up to his max hand size, and I will draw up to mine. All right, and now so my turn is now over, and it will pass over to Matthew.
Okay, I am going to start off by opening a chain link with head jab.
Okay,
So this is, I'm casting this, casting cost is in the top right corner, is 0. Obviously that means free, so attack for 2.
Okay, so this is the trick with the ninja deck, is that he usually will try to lead this into other combo pieces, as he spoke about as he was explaining how Katsu worked. So I need to choose if I'm going to defend this or not, and on average, I probably do not wish to defend this one, as he is likely to be attacking for larger chunks later. Generally how the combos work. So I am going to just opt to take the 2 damage from this.
Okay.
I will fall to 18.
So that has it go again, so I get my action point back, which is pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to choose to pitch. Oh, sorry, no, my bad. First time I missed the Katsu ability here. The first time an attack action card I control hits each turn, I may discard a card with cost 0. If I do, I can search my deck for a card with combo, banish it face up, and I can play it this turn. So that I'm going to do that. I'm going to discard Nimblism, which is a cost of 0, and I'm going to look for a combo card, which one do I want it in? Right, I want that one. So we go with Yes. Okay. Sorry. Face up. Sorry. So I'm banishing Fluster Fist, which says it's a combo card, has to be, and then it says if open the center was the last attack this combat chain, it gains +1 for each attack that has hit this combat chain. So far that is 1, but might be more. We shall see.
Yeah. So that will of course make me assume that if he is adding Fluster Fist to his hand, that means that he already has an open the center that he's intending to attack with.
And that is exactly right, Storms.
So
I am going to attack with, well, I'm going to first pitch leg tap for the 2 resources, and then I'm going to attack with open the center. So this starts a new chain link, and this one attacks for 4, but it says if head jab was the last attack to use this combat chain, which it is, it gains +1 attack, go again, and dominate. So it's actually attacking for 5. Dominate is a special ability that says the defending hero can't defend with more than 1 card from their hand, so they may only defend with 1 card. That's defending, though. They can still use defense reactions in the defense reaction phase if they have them.
Right. So basically now I need to decide what I'm going to do about that. So can I afford to take 5 damage? That is the real question.
That's the $100 question. Yep. I'm lucky I got my combo off on turn 1.
So actually, based on the way my hand is right now, I don't actually think I can very effectively defend this. At least not this one.
So you wanted to get the
Okay. So you're going to take the full 5?
Yeah, so I will take 5 on that one.
Okay.
So
13. That's another attack that hits, so that makes this stronger. I have go again and get my action point back. So then for the final action of the turn, I'm going to attack with Fluster Fist that I got with Katsu's ability. So this is attacking for 4.
Right. So Fluster Fist is coming at me for 4. So I don't want to take the full damage because that would hurt.
Yep.
Below half-life. That would be a very big first turn. So I think what I actually am going to do is I'm going to defend 2 of it.
Okay.
With my two of my pieces of equipment. So both of them have a defense value of 1. So that means that I'd be mitigating 2 of the 4 damage.
Okay, so you take 2.
Yeah, so I take 2, go to 11, and these, of course, these both have Blade Break, just as Matthew's boots did. So now those will go face down. Because they are now broken, I cannot use them again.
Alright, so that is all in one go of my turn. These cards that I attack with go to the graveyard. A pitch zone goes on the bottom in any order I choose. And then I draw up to maximum hand size, which is 4.
And so note there, the biggest reason why I did not defend is because the context of my hand right now, I need every last resource my hand can produce. So I basically would be unable to have an effective turn were I to use cards from my hand to defend with that. So that's where the real key comes in terms of the strategy of defending versus saving for attack. Now, so on my turn, I need to figure out what I'm doing, first and foremost, of course. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start by pitching a Biting Blade, yellow, so for 2 resources. 2 resources. One of which I will spend to play a Warrior's Valor.
Which gives it +2 and go again.
Yeah, so this is a Warrior's Valor yellow this time. That's where the first one was a blue. And then I will also spend an additional 1 to play a Nature's Path Pilgrimage. So what this one does, your next weapon attack this turn gains +3 attack, and if this hits and I have no cards in my arsenal, I reveal the top card of my deck, and if it is an action, I can put it into my arsenal. So, of course, it also has Go Again, which Makes sense. Otherwise, it would be kind of pointless. So
now
currently
your
my
weapon is-
weapon has +5.
It's a big weapon.
So now I have to pitch Razor Reflex for 2, and then spend one of those resources to now attack with the 8 damage Dawn Blade.
So that's a lot of damage. But what I want to do is just block. I want to block with Breaking Scales, and it'll take the 7 damage.
Okay.
So
So
this
that one is Battle.
This has
correct?
Battle Worn. Yep. So Battle Worn says instead of like Blade Break where it destroys it, I just put a -1 defense value on it. So basically, it's not going to be able to defend again because it only has 1, but I can still use its ability, which is an attack reaction.
Right. So now Matthew defends 1 and takes 7 from the Dawn Blade. And now because it hits, I get the ability of Nature's Path Pilgrimage.
Yep.
So I will reveal the top card of my deck. It is an action card. It is a Driving Blade.
Let's do that.
It costs 2, but it goes into my arsenal.
Okay.
So now that will go into my arsenal. And keep in mind now that will stay there after this turn is over. Okay, so Dawn Blade has successfully dealt 7 damage, which means that Dorinthea can permit it to attack again, and it did gain go again because of Warrior's Valor. So I will spend my last resource, and I will come in once more with Dawn Blade. This time for 3.
I will take 3.
So he will take 3. So Matthew's going to fall to 6, and because Dawn Blade has hit twice this turn, Dawn Blade will gain a attack counter. So now every time it attacks, it will be attacking for 4 base damage instead of just 3. Okay, so, and that will be the end of my turn. So now I have there's a card in Arsenal from the pack. I'll put these on the bottom.
You draw up your hand
And I
size.
will draw up 2 hand size, and then Matthew can go ahead.
All right. I'm going to start off by pitching Head Jab for 2 resources.
Yep.
So use the dice like you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will use one of those resources to come at you with the Kodashi
Attack me with a harmonized Kadachi.
for a whopping 1
For a
damage.
singular point of damage. So I am going to opt to take the singular point of damage.
Okay. So took 1. This has go again because I do have a card
Does have
with
go again.
value. Cost 0 in my pitch zone.
That's correct.
So I do get to go again. Can't attack with this Kodachi again, but I can attack with this one if I want to.
Yes.
But instead, I'm going to spend that resource to attack you with a leg tap.
A leg tap. So that is an attack for 4 damage.
4 damage, correct.
And has go again, of course.
Yes. So I will stress that since I attacked with a weapon, it wasn't an attack action, so I couldn't. It wasn't an attack action card, so I couldn't trigger his ability with the weapon.
Correct. However, he could trigger it with leg tap if he chose to.
Yeah, if it hits.
If it hits. That's right. That is the assumption that it hits. So I'm going to attempt to stop it from hitting. So I'm going to defend with a Nature's Path Pilgrimage and my Refraction Bolters. So these have Blade Worn just like Matthew's arms equipment do.
Yeah, Battle Worn. Yeah.
Battle Worn, excuse me, yeah. So I'm going to be defending this with 4 defense.
Okay, so now we go to attack. That was the defense phase. Now we go to attack your action phase, which I'm going to use. Oh, actually I can't. It's in combos. Never mind. I cannot do that. So in that case, I'm going to use an instant ability, the Hope Merchant's Hood, which lets me destroy this and then shuffle any number of cards from my hand in my deck and then draw that many cards.
Sure.
So I'll do that. Going to shuffle both of these into my deck and then draw 2 cards.
Okay. So presumably Matthew is now hoping to find either an attack reaction card or potentially a card that will permit him to continue his combo even if leg tap does not connect.
So I draw 2. That's exactly what I'm doing. Let's see. Okay. I didn't get an action, so yeah. So it's blocked.
4 is defended. So now that will go. Well, technically, I guess they stay on the chain until the combat chain is completely ended.
Yes.
So I will put a note there just so we don't forget that.
Okay. Then I will pitch a Nimblism for a value of 3,
Mm-hmm.
and I will attack with a Kodashi.
Attacking with the other Harmonize Kadachi.
Yes, for 1 damage.
Yeah, I am not going to defend that, so I will fall to 9.
And then with another resource, I will attack with Leg Tap Blue.
A leg tap blue for 2.
For 2, correct.
Okay. And so I am not going to be defending that one either.
Okay, so you
so
go to
I
7.
will fall to 7.
And yeah,
And
that's my turn.
Yeah, he has go again, but he does nothing left to spend his action points on. So
my resource.
So in case we didn't make that clear from the gameplay, go again essentially adds an action point, or gives you an extra action point once that action has finished resolving, which permits you to do another action. Actions that do not have go again do not permit you to carry on your actions afterwards, unless you have an outside means to gain action points. Okay, so Matthew has just smacked me for a bunch, but he is, of course, at low life, so now I'm in a position where I'm going to be trying to put him under pressure and make him use his cards for defense rather than to attack me. So what I'm going to do is Matthew already knows what this card is, and so I will be playing it here. I'm going to pitch a Driving Blade for a 3 value, and 2 of it I will spend to play the red Driving Blade that is in my arsenal.
Yep.
So my next weapon attack gains +3 and go again, and
Okay.
it has go again. This has go again. South, of course.
Yep.
So then what I will do is I will spend my resource, and I will attack with Dawnblade, which is currently attacking for 7.
7 damage.
So Matthew has to defend it with something, as he does not have 7 life to play with.
Yes, I will defend it with, I guess, a Nimblism.
He's going to defend it with a Nimblism.
So defend 2 of it.
Defend 2, so then it will be coming across for 5.
Yes, so I go to 1. Unless you have an attack reaction.
Yeah, so I do have an attack reaction.
Okay.
He is defended from hand. I will play an Iron Song Response red,
All right.
bump it up for an additional +3.
And that will finish me off.
Okay.
I don't have a defense reaction.
And that's that.
There we go.
All right. So that was our first demonstration game of Flesh and Blood, the warrior class versus the ninja class. Of course, that game I was able to get very aggressive with Dawnblade early, as this class tends to do.
Yep.
And I was able to successfully give my weapon go again a couple of times. And the ninja deck is, I have found, can be rough into situations like that, because with the ninja you really do need all of your cards in your hand to chain your combos off, right? So when you're forced to use cards for defense, that can be a little bit rough in terms of carrying off your combo chain.
Exactly.
However, Matthew was able to successfully do it at least once, one turn, so you were able to see exactly what the combo can do.
I did like 10 damage on that turn too.
Yeah, exactly. You did like a lot of my health in that one turn.
Yeah.
But again, then he ran into the issue on the second turn where he was not able to put together those combo pieces to attack for high amounts of damage, and that gave me a 1-turn reprieve to successfully attack for lethal damage. But again, all of these classes have great tools and benefits to them.
These are basically basic decks we built. We didn't put too many like rares or majestics into these decks. So obviously, the more valuable cards, the more rares and stuff you add, the cooler stuff your deck can do.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Yeah, these are very basic examples. However, what we will say, these decks are available for free at Midgard Gaming. All you have to do is ask us at the counter, and you can get one of these decks that you have seen played in this demonstration, and then you can use that as a base to build upon in the future. So these are Welcome to Wrath, custom-built starter decks by myself and Matthew. And like I say, just if you are interested and would like to try out one of these decks specifically, request it at the counter, and they are available for you. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you will tune in for future Flesh and Blood videos and possibly consider giving the game a shot.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you very much.